And now you're good to go. Sorry about that.
Hey, Stacey.
Hey, Charles. I came to a realization.
I like it. Tell me more.
Some people are like slinkies. Not really good for much, but they bring a smile to your face when you push them down the stairs.
I mean, everyone loves the slinky.
I mean, bless their souls.
Did you say bless their souls or rest their souls? Because
bless their souls.
One of those is murder, Stace. Murder.
Not today. I'm too pretty for jail. Dave, please play that track. Why? You're so fabulous. Yeah, I'm single, ready to mingle. Yeah, I'm single. These are the reasons why I'm single.
Lordy, lordy, look who's 240.
What?
Yeah. Lordy, lordy, look who's 240.
240?
Yeah, that's the episode we're on.
Episode number, yeah.
Because I'm
I caught that one, Chels. I was there with you.
Thank you.
God bless Dave in Podcast Detroit. Because I was like, listen, I know I'm getting older, but you need to chill.
You're not 40.
Right? I know I'm closer to 40 than 30. Don't want to talk about it, but
It's his birthday month this month.
Yay!
Actually,
So happy.
When this goes to the world, I believe it's like we're within days. Or is it the day? Is it the day?
This is the day that the Lord has made me. That the Lord has made me.
It's a day off. It's fine. So happy birthday, Stacey.
Oh my gosh, thanks. It's an honor to be alive. No.
To be nominated is where I thought you were going. And I was like,
listen, I would love to be nominated for what? I don't know. Ring Girl. Yes, would love to be nominated for that. Don't want to do any pageant type of stuff. No. Be nominated for an Oscar. Sure, because it doesn't have to be for acting. I mean, even if it was, I'm a bomb supporting actress. Just throwing that out there. I like to be nominated for, you know what, like best hype man or hype woman. Because not like a stage mom where you're like, you better smile. Even though I've done that before, I would definitely be a great like hype man or hype woman. Like, you got this. You know who doesn't got this? All them other crappy people out there because they're not as good as you. If you're listening to this right now, reasons why I'm single, fandom, fans, short for fanatics. Thank you, CMACDs, for that one. Just know that I'm talking to you and you're great and we love you and we're so happy you're here.
Heck yeah, man. We're excited.
Can we talk about how cute you look, please, Chelsea? Even though I know people are listening to us, but they need to just feel the cuteness that you are embodying right now.
You're so sweet. Thank you.
Hype man.
I have like a little baby top knot.
You know I love it.
And then the rest of my hair is just down, existing. But I got
it's so long though.
It smells so good.
Ooh, what does that smell like?
Flowers and crap.
First of all, shout out to, I'm not gonna say her real name. One time she was like, "Oh, you smell like flowers," and I said, "Thanks," and she said, "That a dog pissed on." I was like, "Whoa, not cool." I didn't say her real name because it happened in like junior high or high school, but I was just like, "Oh," so he said flowers and crap. I'm like, hold on, can we just clarify that they're nice smelling flowers? And you are my pretty, nice smelling flower, Chelsea, and together you're just a beautiful floral tropical explosion.
Arrangement.
An arrangement.
Beautiful floral arrangement.
I'd be edible. Wait a minute, that's cannibalism.
Dave?
Huh?
How was your week?
Stressful, but you know what? We're surviving. We're surviving. And you know what? In another week, we'll be thriving. So hey, onward and upward. How are you, my dear friend?
Well, I'm letting the youths on our Facebook know that we're existing. So
The
that's
youths. Not that we only target youths.
no. We target anyone. Hey, you out there, the youths.
You. Guess who's Soldier Boy's best friend?
Everybody's younger than somebody.
Oh, I like it. Snaps for wisdom.
I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying educate yourself.
These are facts.
Yeah, no, I've had a busy week. Karaoke is back in full swing. I just got another night. So that's nice for
Another night.
another night.
What
So-
nights are you doing now?
Thursdays and Saturdays starting tomorrow. So yeah.
Gosh, do you remember back in the day where you'd go out for like Thirsty Thursdays?
I remember when we drag you to the country bar because it was dollar beers.
God, I hated that. But to be fair, so the establishment was Coyote Joe's. Very nice establishment, not gonna lie. Cleanest place I had ever been to when I was out bar hopping back in the day.
Mhm.
I remember my first time being dragged there, and I was very vocal about it. I know I've talked about it on here before. And I was just at the bar. I'm like, can you just give me like two whatever? And this guy was like, let me buy you a drink. I'm like, cool, give me two, blah, blah, blah. And so he gave them to me, and I went to go pay for them. He goes, no, these ones are on me because I really want you to enjoy yourself here. And I'm like, that is the nicest thing that I've ever heard. I was like, thank you so much. And I did enjoy myself. And by enjoy myself, I mean get half in the bag and not remember half the night. And I just kept going to different corners of each of the two bars, and everyone bought my drinks for me. Like, hey, we haven't seen you here before. I'm like, you are absolutely right. Help me feel welcome. And I just drank for free, and the group I was with drank for free because I was like, here, people keep buying me things.
Remember, there was a bar, it's definitely closed now, but it was over in Utica. And it was the first night because I was very much the like vodka cran girl.
Hello.
Mind you, I don't even like vodka. Now that I actually like know what liquor tastes like, I'm like, vodka's not my jam. Good to know. I'm a tequila.
And because I was bougie, I didn't start like drinking until I went to visit my friend in LA. I did a vodka cran, but the vodka was Mandarin vodka. So it was a cranberry orange. Ooh.
But we went to this one bar, and I remember specifically because my friend, I need a girl's name. We should probably take care of some business.
Okay, let's do that. Chels, what is it time for?
It's time for the fake name series of the day.
Ow! So the fake name series of the day is what we use to save the shade. So instead of using people's real names, we use names that are from the fake name series of the day to hide their identities. But they heard these stories.
They know who they are.
Maybe find them at a bar, but keep 6 feet. Anyways, today's fake name series of the day is Good Times.
Good times.
Temporary layoffs. So Good Times is.
Oh, sorry. Tell people about the show. They don't know.
Sure. No worries. Good Times is about a poor family that makes the best of things in the Chicago housing projects with help from wisecracking neighbors, buffoonish building superintendents, and friends.
Oh, friends. So specifically, this story makes me laugh because I've had a lot of like moments, journeys not fulfilled in my life. And this particular journey was when I was about to join the Navy. And
Forgot about that.
I know, right? And it's mostly funny because I was 20 and and we went to a bar because my friend, who is a girl whose name is
Thelma.
Ding. So Thelma had just turned 21, literally like the day before. So we did it where Thelma walked in the bar, gave her ID, and then passed my ID back, her ID right back to me. And then I gave them my ID immediately after, which just proves that they did not care.
Come in, we need hot ladies. Come in.
So we get in there and I get up to the bar and I was like, I'll take a vodka cran. And they were like, great, that'll be $6. And I was like, dollars? And they were like, yeah. And I was like, well, how much is a beer? And they're like, $1. And I was like, I'll have 6 beers. And that was the day I started drinking beer at the bar. But yeah, for those of you who don't know, I think that maybe we haven't talked about this on the show. So there was a point I was definitely like, I didn't end up finishing college, and everybody, because I really was in this headspace where everybody was like, you should be a teacher, you should be a teacher. And I took all these classes that were aimed just for being a teacher. And then I got to a school and I was like, wow, I don't want to be a teacher. I give teachers so much prop, like, especially in the last year. I don't even know how you guys are doing this virtual stuff. And then people half are in class, but you got to teach everybody. I mean, this just proves I made the right decision for myself.
Right? I've always said for years, I've always said parents and teachers are superheroes.
Totally.
Because how they deal with one child, let alone a classroom full, I don't know. And within the past year, people now understand why I always said that.
Right. But so I rather than continue going down that path with school or changing my major, which I was already in my 3rd year, it was going to add another 3 years to my school. It just, I stepped back and I was like, you know what, I'll go back at some point. I haven't done that, but you know, you never know. Can't always, you can't call the rest. I'm young still. I could go back to school, I guess, if I wanted to.
Dude, there are people going back to school in their 80s.
Like, exactly. So, you know, gonna get some knowledge.
Right? Even though I majored in the School of Hard Knocks, I guess this institution will teach me something. This is why I can't be 80 going back to college, because I'll be like, you all have been through nothing.
I just show up and be like, hard knockers.
For you just listening, she may or may not have grabbed her breasts. Anyways.
So I was in this big, you know, I wasn't sure. My parents were very clear. I needed to get a job. So I got a job at Marshall Fields and I was selling shoes, and I was pretty much just selling shoes, getting paid every week and drinking that money. Like, and finally I sat there and I actually turned to my friend Thelma, and she and I were like, we need to get out of here. Like, this can't be what we do for the rest of our lives. This is not good. And so we looked into joining the Navy, and we both went and took the MEPS, and she got the highest you can get on the MEPS is a 99. She got a 91 and I got a 98. And yeah. And we were like, guys, I was very close to signing my stuff and like swearing myself in. But one doctor said I couldn't because my arm doesn't straighten. So yeah, like I was going to join the Navy. I was going to have a whole different life. But this one doctor said, because I couldn't straighten my arm, I couldn't do a proper push-up, and therefore I couldn't join the Navy. So yeah, my whole life had to get changed again. But we were in that summer before she went to boot camp that we were still training with the Navy guys, learning all the job titles and all the chain of command and all that stuff. And we went to this bar because somebody picked it from our group, and we were both like, we can't get in. And Thelma had just turned 21. We do that whole thing. But man, if I could tell you guys, like, if you are listening to this and you're like, I just don't know if I'm doing what my life is supposed to be doing, then you know what? Like, change is terrifying. And I know that because I have been a product of change. But I ended up not joining the Navy. And then I was like, well, crap, I got to find something else. And then I kind of stuck with retail for a while because that is for sure my safety net because I'm good at it. But I flat out turned and I'm like, you know what? We're going to figure this out. I went to school for esthetician. I realized that I really did find that. And 10 years this month is when I got my aesthetics license. So, I mean, and it definitely, mind you, I was 21 when I didn't join the Navy, but then it took me 4 years to figure out, well, 3.5 years, because then I actually went to school. But it's crazy to realize, like, 15 years ago, I thought I was joining the Navy. I thought I had this whole other path that my life was supposed to take. And one guy made that a different thing. So if you're out there and you're listening and you're thinking, God, my life is just not where it's supposed to be, you've got time and try an avenue, like go head down that next road and see where it takes you. And if it doesn't take you to the right place, you can have your safety net of retail, because there's always going to be retail. A little less now. Here I am. I'm in a complete state of flux this past year. A job that I love, that did not want to do it, took me to part-time because of what's happening with COVID. So I had to bounce back. And so now I work part-time doing eyebrows, and I work full-time at a bakery, which I never would have thought I would be something that I'm good at. But now I'm the marketing manager for them, and I get to go deliver people cake. Like,
which is like my dream job.
It's crazy, because I think that if me, the day that my friend swore in for the Navy and I was told that I couldn't. Also, they tell you when you're in your underwear, because it's like the most embarrassing. Like, because
disrespectful.
So like, and most people, they just approve and move on. But for whatever reason, he was not on board. But
and that stuff always makes me wonder, because it's like, what, you can't have any tattoo showing when you're in your uniform? Like, they can't be showing.
You can, they just have to be approved.
Ooh.
It's like every time you get a tattoo, it has to be like logged. So like in general, I have a tattoo on my forearm. I wouldn't have ever gotten that if I were in the Navy, just because then you can't wear short sleeves. It's true. But like if you do have a tattoo, I think you can wear short sleeves in some of the branches, as long as it's in the system and already approved.
Asante.
So like, I feel like if you're out here listening and you're in your 20s and you feel like your life just isn't where it's supposed to be, my life was nowhere it is now. If you told me at 21, sitting there rejected from the Navy, thinking that was my whole life plan, thinking I had finally found my plan, that in 15 years I was going to be a homeowner who makes her own money and isn't worried about bills because she's doing fine, like, I would have laughed at you. I probably would have cried, honestly, because that's who I am. But
girl, listen, I cry on days that end in Y.
One of the girls at my bakery got engaged, and she told me how it happened. And Sheila says she loves us. Thank you, Sheila. We love
you, Sheila. You.
While she was telling me, I started crying, and it was like, and she
wait, can you tell the story?
Of course I can. Let me tell the story. Okay, so her name is
Penny.
Ding. And Penny has been dating her longtime boyfriend,
JJ.
So ding. So Penny and JJ are in love. Penny and JJ actually live at her parents' house, because JJ had a not so great moment with his parents. Something happened. Anyway, her parents are very supportive of it. They don't sleep in the same room. They're just together. But like 6 months ago, Penny found a receipt in his pocket for a jewelry store, a very substantial receipt. And she was like, oh my gosh, this is it. He's going to propose. So she's been waiting 6 months. So JJ says to Penny 2 weeks ago, listen, I'm taking you out. I need you to get a nice dress. Now, Penny is beautiful. She's Greek. She's got this beautiful olive skin and this lovely dark long hair. And then she's got like the little like bleached, like she's a little goth. So she's got the like emo stuff in the front that's all bleached blonde. So she finds this dress that's like a strapless, asymmetrical emerald green velvet gown.
Girl, you are a velvet dream.
And she was like, we're only going to Detroit, so maybe it's not happening this weekend. And I was like, I feel like he told you to get a dress. Like if he told you to get a dress to take you on a picnic and not propose to you, then tap and call me, because I'm going to explain to him why that was mean.
And also he's paying for the dress.
He shows me these videos. So she gets all dressed up and she gets out of the bathroom and he's gone. And he texts her and they're at like a B&B downtown. So he texts her and says, come downstairs. And as soon as she walks out of I'm going to cry saying it because it's just so sweet. She opens the door and there's her best friend. And she gives her a rose and she says, June 18th this year, the first kiss. And then she walks a little bit further down and he gives another person with another rose. And they're like, September 23rd, the first time I told you I loved you. And they go down. And so literally like every 5 feet, she's getting a rose and every rose has a memory attached to it. And it's like, I'm watching this and I'm crying just like I am now. And she's like, Chelsea, don't be sad. I was like, no, I'm just so sweet. So sweet. Also, anything emotionally wise that's above a 7 is, I'm crying. Oh, Sheila said something. Oh, thanks. Sheila said, oh, you make single life much funner. It's so good. I'm making up my own words. Yes, funner.
There are no rules.
Only Zool. So she gets down. So now by the time she's at the bottom of the staircase, she has a dozen roses in her arms.
Dang, come on, memories.
And then her parents are there and her dad kisses her cheek and they send her into this room and she walks in and he's there on his knee. And she's like, she was so nervous at that point that she just started laughing. And then he told her, I can't wait to start the rest of my life with you. Will you marry me? And she said, yes. And it was just, oh God, it was so romantic. And I just like, as every person was saying their thing, I'm just like, oh, because you know that this man has been making a point to write down the dates of all these things so that this could happen. So it was like, not only do you love me enough to marry me, you love me enough to remember things.
Oh my gosh. I had read this one post where, or no, this guy had put together this slideshow and it was, I forget how they did it. Oh, it was like every time they took like a selfie or something like that, he would take 3 and one of them would have a note just like, I'm going to marry you. And they were together for like a year. So then when he made a photo album and he gave her all the pictures and she's like, I remember that. Did you Photoshop that? He's like, no, I've always known that you were the one. I was like, I can't. I can't. I'm just like ugly crying while reading or watching this video.
So she comes to work and I'm like, did it happen? Did it happen? And she's like, it happened. And she flips a rock down. I am not exaggerating when I
was Dwayne on it.
This thing is insane. There's like, it probably sits a half inch off of her finger. And it's one big, like the diamond is like the size of a dime around. Like it's huge. It's huge to the point where I was like, have you got it caught on things yet? Because it's like legitimately like one of the biggest rings I've ever seen in real life. And then it's
come through, JJ. Come through.
Beautiful, like vintage wrapping of like, it looks like almost vines on the actual band. It's very beautiful. I was like, I'm so proud of you guys because like clearly he's known for a while that he was going to marry you, and you are just there so supportive of him. And I don't want to blast JJ for his stuff. He has a lot of issues with his family and all this, and her family like just scooped him up, and they're actually extremely progressively, he is going to take her last name because he doesn't have that connection that she does to hers. So congratulations, JJ and Penny. We love. We don't want to be the bitter girls who are single. I want people to be happy for me too.
Right. And if you're not it's probably because I'm going to be extremely arrogant about it. Like, suck it, bees. It's my turn. I mean, I got engaged. By suck it, bees, I mean beautiful friends of mine.
Beautiful friends of mine.
Beautiful babes.
Oh, hi, Chelsea.
I'm doing my nails next week.
I keep buying them. I should probably put them on my fingers.
Listen, that's the one thing that I do have planned out. Shouts out to Color Street, and our rep is Chelsea. Private invite only. Okay. But so I've had an idea for my birthday mani for a while. So that's the one thing I plan on doing for my birthday. However, now that I look back over the colors, it looks like I'm attending a gender reveal party because it's like pastel blue, pastel pink, and white and confetti. And I'm just like, really should have thought this through a little more, but that's okay. I'm committed. This is what I want.
I made a gender reveal cake today.
Did you?
I did. It's fun because it's like the one secret that I can keep for sure.
Wait, do you actually know
So they'll tell us, and then what we do is in the actual cake we put a rattle that's either pink or blue, and if it's twins then it's yellow. And so they give us the envelope from their doctor and we get to open it, and most people want to keep the envelope, so like we open it and we close it and we seal it back up and give it back to them.
Wow. I'd have to write it down because I'm like, I won't remember. I'm gonna mess it up.
No, we're making it right in that moment. So we'd already grabbed it, but then you have to like press it into the cake so that people can't like look over the bow and everything. So it's like, it's just fun to watch people like not know. And then like, it's like, oh, you're going to find out, but I know first.
Now let me be bitter for a moment. There are several events that I don't like to attend. 2 of them are showers. The third is a gender reveal party. Unless the gender reveal party is a part of the baby shower, I don't want to be there because I've been to one before and I was like, this is the dumbest party I've ever been to. I'm like, so you're just spending money on food to feed us. We're going to watch you open up a box and then balloons pop out and that's it. Everyone go home. I'm like, this is dumb.
Okay, first off, I do agree with you that I think gender reveal parties are lame. But I do like the idea of like you and your husband getting a gender reveal cake, or like, let's say you and your husband found out, but then you want to give something to your parents for them to have the surprise. Like that, I totally get on board for. But I do agree, just having a party to reveal a gender especially when we live in a world that like nothing is super defined.
Yes, completely agreed, because I cannot stand those parties, but I agree with you with the whole parents thing. I'd be down for that. I would send a cake to all of the important people and
they can pull out the rattle and be like, oh my God, it's like, and then that makes sense. But it's definitely funny because oh gosh, Stacey, let me tell you. So I have been watching the most recent season that's on Hulu of Married at First Sight. And there is a girl there who is in one of the couples and she is a virgin. And
what's up, girl?
Let me tell you that she is so annoying.
I was going to say, everyone's going to hate her. I already know.
She is like, on top of the fact that she's a virgin. And so she's a very, I don't want to say like, maybe pious is the word, but it's like, good for me. I'm a virgin. I waited for this precious gift to give my husband so he can take my virginity. But on top of that, she's also an only child who's never had to share anything. So she like, every time they go anywhere, she is throwing fit after fit of like they have the families over to their house to like celebrate their union. And she was like, we bought drinks and food specifically for this event. And I turn and they are in our fridge drinking my lemonade.
I mean, was it from Chick-fil-A? That's the only lemonade worth fighting over, but not even fighting.
And he legit, like, she sat there and she threw, like, she mean mugged him and was like, they drink my lemonade. And he goes, they just know when they come to my house, they can go on my fridge because that's what normal people do. Like, if you really don't want them to eat something, be like, oh, just don't eat that thing. Like, but right, like everything. And then he made a really good point. He was like, everything in there is replaceable. So if they drink it, I'll go get more. And she was like, that's not the point. The point is I had intentions to drink that for me, and therefore nobody else should be able to drink this lemonade. And he was like, and then in his little like aside thing, he goes, yeah, so she's kind of an only child and a spoiled brat. And she hides behind the fact that she's this very godly woman. And it's, and I'm just like, man, she is giving Stacey a bad rap. I want you guys all to know. Listen to her. This is how Stacey is. Listen to here. Which is funny because it could go either way. It could be listen to here, like listen to my face, or it could be listen to actually hear.
I was like, it could go either way. I have a question. I'm sorry. I'm supposed to be listening to there.
Well, my whole point is, I said there's like people like this are giving Stacey's choice of her virginity a bad name, because it's like she keeps saying this gift. Like, I mean, they're like 6 weeks in out of the 8-week project, and she's like, this gift that I've given to my husband. And well, then the team's trying to like encourage her sexuality, because she's like, oh, I'm definitely sexually attracted to my husband. She's like, well, you haven't done anything but treat him like a roommate, so how do you expect him to be good like that? So they got them like sexy dice, and it wasn't anything crazy, but it is like, there was one, she landed, she rolled, and she was like, and it said touch boob, and she was like, disgusting. No, absolutely not.
Okay.
And he flat out said, he was like, your sexual maturity is so far behind mine, in even the simple fact that you won't even treat me like a husband. How am I supposed to play with that?
What are their ages?
She's 27 and he was 29 or 28.
Come on, girl.
That's what I'm saying. And she's beautiful. That's the crazy thing. It was like, you're making yourself look ugly internally. And so it's like, I literally just before, like on my way home, I turned it on again because I'm on the last episode, so I get to see if people choose to stay married or get divorced. But
Dang.
but so I know, but I don't want to say, just in case Stacey wants to watch that one. But
I mean, I'll probably just ask you after the fact.
Yeah, that's fine. It's the most recent one, and it's on Hulu. I think it's season 9, but it's worth watching.
So what I need to know is, so she's being a child, like an actual child, but with Married at First Sight, don't they have like counselors and stuff, right?
Yes, exactly. So there's the relationship expert slash sex therapist comes to her, sits down with her, and the pastor's talking to him, and he flat out said, at this point, her virginity is this huge thing that I'm scared to even go near her, because like she's not acting like she's actually sexually attracted to me. I don't want to keep putting myself out there because she hides behind the fact that it's her virginity. And he's like, so yeah, I'm not good with touching her right now because it doesn't feel like it's going to be a fun thing that I experience with my wife. It feels like it's something that's going to get me in trouble. And meanwhile, she's with the sex therapist, and the sex therapist sits there and says, she goes, what I don't think you understand is the fact that there's a very long line between being roommates with your husband and having sex with your husband. There are so many stops on that line before that. And she goes, there are things you can do to show to your husband that you don't treat him like a roommate. And the first thing the sex therapist suggested was you could shower together. And you should have seen her face. She was like, just like shock. And I'm like, and I sat there and I was like, what a good suggestion from this. Obviously, she's a very well-respected doctor, but like, what a great suggestion. And then she's like, you could get body glitter and paint 3 spots on your body and tell him he has to find them. And she goes, you're controlling the situation because then he knows where you're okay with him touching you. She goes, but if you keep treating him like this, there's no way he's going to continue in this marriage. So she did do the body touching thing, the edible paints, but she did it in like a really like more than just like, so there's a thing where they say like, if you have body paints or you have like edible powders or something like that. You tell your husband you put it on three, you put it on 3 spots, and you tell your husband you put it on 4. So so then he keeps looking.
Deeper.
So but instead you just see her and she's sitting there and she's like, I got these edible paints, and she like puts it on her arm and she's like, lick it. Like, it was very controlled in the fact that he watched her put it on. Now at one point she did put it like on her neck, and then she put it on his chest and she licked it off. So like, it was getting somewhere, which is a huge step for both of them, I think.
Right.
But it was like, I almost felt like at that point, I'm like, this is almost too little too late. You guys are 6.5 weeks into your 8-week experience, and you're just now doing this. You should have been at least attempting to do this. Like, I will be the first to say it, but like, I'm a makeout slut. Sorry, Dad. I love making out. I love
Hashtag not sorry, Dad.
Yeah, sorry.
Also, it's PG. It's PG.
I love making out though, but like, it makes me laugh because I almost want to be like, I know that these people literally don't know each other. I understand that. And they get married not knowing each other. But the second after they get married, they go off to buy each other, like by themselves. And they have like maybe like 20 minutes before they have to go do photos. And my brain, every time, I'm like, I would like, the photographer's going to make us kiss. Let's sit here by ourselves, have a couple of glasses of champagne, and like kiss it out for a minute, because we're about to go take photos that, if we end up married, are going to be our wedding photos. So and be like, yes, this gives you a chance to like feel them out. And really, like, I feel like a lot can be said from the way somebody kisses you.
Hey, it's a form of communication.
Right? And I'm like, with the
Speaking
other
in tongues, if you will. God, don't kill me.
some people like grill the other person in those moments. They're like, so where do you live? What do you do? Where's your job? What kind of car do you drive? And it's like, no. They matched you for something beyond that. You can find out all that other stuff. Like, what you need to give yourself in that moment is a leap of faith. You need to sit there and be like, they matched me for a reason. I'm going to go wholeheartedly into this. And if the easiest way for us to get to know each other in this 20-minute moment is by maybe making out a little.
Not mad at that. Not mad. At least, I mean, if anything, it's foreplay. Like,
exactly. But like, what are you gonna do if you sit there and like, mind you, it's different for Stacey. Stacey's going to be dating someone before. She's not gonna jump into a marriage and then put all this pressure on herself. But like, but you're not gonna date somebody and not show them any sexual intimacy, because there has to be that. Like, you can't, I'm not saying anything like Stacey's got to go suck a lot of dick. Like, that's not the thing. like that's not what I'm saying. But I am saying, especially what this doctor was saying, like, can you sit there and be like, yeah, I'm going to go take a shower and you're going to be my husband, so maybe you can wash my back. Like, it's like, this is your person. You're more than roommates. You're building this thing that it's interesting. And I know that show is so like such a small bubble, but I feel like there's been virgins on other shows who have also ruined the vibe.
All right. Okay. So, dirty laundry time, because number one, I've been on one this evening. So,
see this one? She's on it.
I'm on it. I don't want to be on it. So, first and foremost, our day ones, or even our day 101s. Y'all have heard how when we do VWQs, Virgin with Questions, how it would waver. It'd be Stacey's a virgin by choice, or it'd say Stacey is celibate by choice. And that's because I had issues with being called a virgin. So though I have not consciously been penetrated by a penis, there was a jerk in the past who I was drunk and have no remembrance of anything. And apparently he put just the tip in, and then he told all of her friends and had to go through some therapy to get over that. Therapy. But anyways, so I've always wavered back and forth because I have had my hymen busted. Someone put their fingers a little too far up there. Wasn't pleasurable, but it happened. So I'm like, technically, I'm not one. So I was like, I don't want to be called that. However, I have not consciously like had a penis inside of me. So it's like, I haven't had sex. So, but I still didn't feel right calling myself a virgin because I don't have like the qualifications in my mind to be one. That's
Which-
just the way I've always felt about it.
Which I totally get it, because Stacey and I have had this conversation, and I've been like, people break their hymen on horse riding.
On bikes.
On bikes. Like, the hymens break. Hymen
No confetti comes out though, contrary to my spirit fingers. Or maybe mine did. I don't know. No, it didn't. I would have remembered. Would have been fabulous. But anyway.
So like so that's my mindset of it, where I'm like, you've consciously made this choice. I don't think that you should have to take away the fact that you can call yourself a virgin because of something that happened like that. I also don't, in my personal opinion, I feel like obviously oral sex has the word sex in it. And like, so obviously some people are going to constitute that being something that means that they lost their virginity. I don't agree. I think that it's penetration with a penis, the PPs.
PP. I like, for me, I agree that, a vagina getting penetrated by a penis for me would be sex. Have I had oral sex before? Yes, I have. And I'm not proud of it. At the time I was proud of it. Don't get it twisted. But now being
You shouldn't be proud of it. I feel like
but I mean, again, this is like over a decade ago.
I feel like if God can forgive murderers on death row, he's gonna be fine that you had an orgasm.
I mean, who said I had one though? Right? Did the guy get one? Every single time. My husband's gonna be a very lucky man. However, and also the last person that Jesus saved before he died was the murderer. So hallelujah. Anyways, but like so that's something that I did used to do, like with someone that I was exclusively dating.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I would do that. And honestly, I didn't have like a whole ton of guidance on what to do in relationships. I never got that guidance. And so when I was 14, my best friend at the time, I'm on the wrong series. Bessie, bing. When I was 14, she had gotten pregnant, and my immediate reaction was, "Holy!"
Sorry, how old was she?
She was a couple years older.
Okay.
So me being 14, my immediate mindset was, "Your life is over," and that was the moment where I was like, "I am never having sex," because I'm like, I never want to have a child. Like I want to live my life. I want to be selfish. Again, 14-year-old me. And so as you get older and your body develops, you have these wonderful things called hormones. And it's funny because my mother and my grandmother, they are the queen and princess of being prudes. So that was all that I knew. But then as I came into my own, as my body was developing, my mother and my aunt sat me down, and they were just like, "Listen, you're becoming a woman now, and your body is, blossoming and all this other stuff." And they told me, "All we're saying is, while you've got it, flaunt it." And I'm like, "Hold up." I'm like, "What are you even saying?" They're like, "Just, it's okay to wear certain things. Like you can, wear like a two-piece bathing suit if you wanted to." But again, raised by prudes, I'm like, "How dare you? You are disgusting." And Chelsea can speak for me that I would wear like 3 shirts. I would have a button down, and then like a layered tank top, and then another layered tank top, because heaven forbid anyone saw my collarbone. And so like then I went away
You're giving me a glimpse of clavicle, you prude.
Is that your epidermis I see? Oh God. And so then going off to college, and I, number 1, gained weight, and number 2, my boobs were huge. So then I'm wearing all the low cut tops, like, look at me. So then when I came home from my first year at college, everyone's like, "Stacey," and I'm like, eyes up here, please. But your girl was out here doing things. So then like a lot of guys are inquiring, and I'm starting to get asked out for like once in my life by a lot of people. And so when I would tell people at that time for real, like I was a virgin, they're like, "No way." They're like, "What do you mean no way? Like, what are you going to do? Go with me to my doctor?" Like, what do you mean no way? And just like Chelsea was saying, like virgins get such a bad rap. We're just supposed to be these saintly little creatures that dress in sackcloth So we don't even want to touch ourselves, let alone have other people touch us because, oh, the shame. And I must protect this gift. That's never been me. I was just one by default because I'm like, no, I don't want to get pregnant. I don't want to have sex. But then experiencing my hormones and all this other stuff, I'm like, ooh, urges. Okay, I see you. But also, like, I don't want to do that. So then, even though your girl gained weight, your girl got in shape because I honestly did not have urges often. But when I did, I'm like, I'm going to go on this treadmill because ain't nobody got time. And so, like, a lot of guys would ask me out. And so then it became a game, like, you know, make or breaker. And I would go out to some very nice restaurants. And they're just like, so what do you want to do after this? I'm like, not what you're thinking, because the one thing, so even though I still like consciously have decided, and even those that I dated, not the 3 jerks that did terrible things, but the guys that I, you know, dated, we were in a committed relationship. Like, I've been in relationships for years, and I told them, like, listen, I don't want to have sex until I'm married, and they respected that. And we were fine throughout our relationships. Like, they respected that. Now, fun story, because when you said you two could shower together, there's one guy that I was dating. His name was I can't call him that. His name was Carl. And so what was it? Carl and I, gosh, I'm trying to think how long we had been dating. Because we had known each other for about a year, and then like met him in college. So we'd known each other about a year maybe, and then we had like reconnected like years later. And so I don't know how long we had been dating. If I were to take a guess, maybe a couple months. I don't know. But anyways, we took a long weekend together, and so we're staying in a hotel. So the next morning, like, I go to take a shower. So I'm just showering. All of a sudden, the door opens. And there's another person in there. I'm like, oh, well, okay then.
Oh,
Right. All right then. So I mean, it was fine. I was just like, oh God, this is like, first of all, like, my hair is all wrapped up because your girl still got her hair straightened. So you got to wrap that stuff up, or else it's going to go into its natural state and I'm just going to look like a lion. No one had time for that. Plus, I had an event. I think we went to an event that weekend or something like that. Regardless. So he's just in there and I'm just like, oh God, what do I do? I'm just like in the corner and he's just like, would you chill? Like, just take a shower. I'm like, all right, I guess that's fair. Like, you know, I was like sitting on your face the other night, so I guess you've seen everything. So like, I'm just kind of like sitting there showering, and it's just like, oh, well, this is fine. Okay then. And it was just okay. So then the next time I'm just like, wait, can we stay in the shower longer and actually like do things? So it was like a progressive thing. But I mean, I was shocked when he popped in there, but it wasn't weird at all. And like you said, that's something I would never do with a roommate. And it makes me sad that the girl on the show was just treating him as a roommate. Like, even if you haven't got to know each other so far, you gotta do the work. Like, you're not just gonna snap your fingers and be like, fairy tale, we're in love, everything fits perfectly together. Nah, chick, you got work to do.
well, and then she freaked out about the fact that they went to his house at the beginning, and he had an empty box of condoms, and she was like, "How much sex were you having up until this wedding?" And then he, very simple explanation. He was like, "I didn't know who I was marrying. I've already packed for the wedding, so the condoms are in my suitcase." Like, but she made such a big deal about his past. And she's like, well, you know my past. I've been with no one. So what about you?
Fair.
And it's like, it's not fair to bring somebody else's past into it. This person knows you're a virgin, and is literally being so respectful of it. But you also have to be respectful of his needs, because if your man's going to get sexually frustrated, you're going to have problems, because a lot of men's love language is physical touch. But because she was so only child, never had to share anything, her way or the highway, she literally gave them a tour. She gave them a tour of their apartment, and she was like, this sink will only be for washing faces. This sink will only be for washing hands.
Dumb.
Right. And it's like, okay, I get that you as a single person who lives by themselves can make whatever dumb rules you want. But when you go into a scenario where you're living with a man who is now your partner and your equal, you don't get to make those decisions.
Not at all. And that's another thing too. Number one, I have never said, listen, you're not only dating me, you're dating my gift. That is my never, first of all, never. Second of all, completely agree with what Chelsea said. You do not hold anyone's past against them. Shoot. People, and I have had my past held against me because even though I have been celibate, I'm talking nothing for like over a decade. The fact that I've done those things in my past, trust, I've been shamed for it. And I'm just like, it was in the past. Now that's something that I don't want to do again unless I am married, to be quite honest. That's where I'm at with my life. And the fact that I get shamed for that, I'm just like, okay, cool. Like, I hope you feel better about yourselves. Like, not sure how that is endangering your relationship, but whatevs. But also, I'm not going to hold any dudes past like against mine. I have dated like dudes that were straight up hoes like before we started dating. And it's just like, that was their past.
And every person that you meet, every relationship that you're in, every experience you have is what leads you to become the person that you are and for them to become the person they are that makes your partnership make sense for you. The other thing that drives me a little kookadooks is when people on TV who are portrayed as a virgin act like everybody teases them about it, so then they throw it away, and then that's their entire plot line. And it's like, honey, you are so much more than your hymen. and yes, like there are women out there who made the decision that this is their gift that they want to give to their husband, and that's the decision. There are lots of men who make that decision too. And if that's the choice you've made, again, I'm not virgin shaming anyone. I'm also not slut shaming anyone. But you also can't, like, it's the perfect analogy is when people talk about CrossFit and veganism. Like,
whoa, never heard this.
So when you walk into a room and somebody goes, is there anything here I can eat because I'm a vegan? And I used to go to the regular gym, but now I do CrossFit. And it's like, how long do you have to wait in the room before you hear about it? I feel like these people are sitting there being like wearing their virginity on their sleeve like it's armor or something, where it's like, feel bad for you because I'm saving my gift for my husband. And it's like, you know what? Are there points in my life where I feel like I made the wrong decision when it comes to my virginity? Yeah, I do. I do actually regret it, but not in the way that you would think. I don't regret it and think that like, I wish that I had waited. I actually wish that I had just chose the person prior. I think I chose the wrong person. And I think if I chose the first person that I didn't have sex with, that then things would have changed. I think that I would have never even dated the next guy who I lost my virginity to, who treated me like trash the entire time and then manipulated me into convincing me otherwise.
Jerk.
He was. But like, I feel like, if I could go back, I'd do it differently. But you can't go back. So you got to just move forward with the life that you're living. And you do not have to apologize for the decisions you've made in your previous lives to your future partners. Like, let me say that again for the people in the back. You do not have to apologize for your previous decisions to your future partner or partners. That is not their job to shame you. Now, mind you, if you feel some sort of shame about something that happened in your past, then you talk to a professional and you figure out why you feel that shame and how you can get past it. Because you're not going to be in a successful relationship if you can't get past it.
Oh, for sure. Because first dude that took advantage of me, I thought I was over it. Meaning I just buried it deep down inside and I was fine. And so like even remained, because me, people pleaser, remained cordial, remained friends, even though they drug me through the mud, manipulated me, blamed everything on me. Our whole group of friends was mad at me because his heart was broken. Right? Mess. So drug me through the mud. He ends up getting engaged, married, all that stuff, went to the wedding, like all of us group of friends were there, went to the wedding. It wasn't until him and his wife, I think it was like baby number 2, they found out it was a girl. And the immediate thought that popped in my head was, cool, I hope she gets raped like you did me. That is not a healthy response.
Yeah.
And that's when I knew something was a wreck inside of me. And I was like, that is not a healthy response. And there was no way I could justify that. I was just like, first of all, no one in their right mind, especially not a Christian, especially not like just a human that, thinks all humans deserve love. I'm like, that is not healthy. So that's when I did go get therapy, because I'm like, this is a mess. And I just had to work through all of those. I didn't realize how much it affected me and different parts of my life until I unpacked all of that.
Well, you'll build up all sorts of walls around that kind of trauma.
Yeah, had no idea.
And that's like, and again, once again, we are a comedy podcast. We love keeping it light, but we also love keeping it real with you guys. So like, it's not all up. It's not all happy and funny and go lucky. Like, but the biggest thing that if you're listening to this and you're like, wow, this was a little heavy, girls. Like, well, you know what?
Like my period.
Maybe we all need to go through the mental gym, because because there are things that are happening to, 1 in 4 women get sexually assaulted in our lifetime. 1 in 4, and you are talking to 2 right now. And it's an unfortunate statistic. And the worst part is, I don't even think that's that accurate, to be honest, because I feel like there's a ton of women who have had terrible things happen to them who just don't talk about it because the shame and the immediate guilt that you feel as a woman, like you could have controlled it. Anyway, that's a whole other thing. But listen, the point of all of this being, virgins are not all bad, except this girl on Married at First Sight, she's got some issues.
Listen, we're humans. And that's the biggest thing. Because whenever I meet someone, they're just like, you are so amazing. You're so this. And then when it does organically come up, they're like, wait.
Right.
Wait. I'm just like, it's just my decision, which that's what I was going to say. I do not regret the decision that I made to want to wait, because though it started from a naive place where don't get pregnant, your life is over. Clearly, babies are a blessing. My favorite title in life is being an auntie. I love those babes. And I love babysitting other people's children. They make me so happy. But I don't regret the decision that I made, because I feel as though it's just another vice that I don't have to potentially deal with. So, and even in terms of like me, like I don't drink a whole ton, nothing against anyone that drinks, but it's just for me, the way I'm wired, I'm like, oh, I don't want to have a potential vice. Even when I started drinking, then it's like, oh my gosh, I smoke now. And I smoked for a solid month and a half when I turned 21. About month 2, I was like, you know what? Let me not do this, because I don't want to create a habit out of it. That's the whole reason why I made the decision that I made, because I'm like, you know what? I don't want to get into a habit of something like that. And then if I can't fulfill it, I don't know what's going to happen after that. So I'm just not even going to go there. That's why I made my decision.
If you want to talk to us about this, you are more than welcome to message us on YouTube. We're not on YouTube. On
Podcast Detroit is. What up, Podcast Detroit?
On Facebook at Reasons Why I'm Single, or Instagram or Twitter at RWIF Podcast. We'd love to hear your stories. We love talking to you guys. If you have a story that you feel like is longer than a message, send it an email at nope, that's wrong. reasonswhypodcast@gmail.com. And and as always, we really just want to remind you guys that you are important, and the world is better for you being in it as long as you are being your authentic self. So keep being who you are, because that's exactly who you should be, and it's who the world needs.
Yes. And my final note, as the podcast celibate panelist, I will say, do you like my Bob Barker microphone here? I don't know if Drew Carey uses it or not. I haven't paid attention to it.
He does.
That's awesome. Shouts out to Drew Carey. Like a lot of people do give me crap about, waiting till marriage. Again, it's my decision, and no, peer pressure is not going to make me change my mind. But I always say, you know what, when I do get married, I'm just like, I am going to be molded to do whatever my husband wants, because that's the only person I need to satisfy. So whatever he wants, he can mold me to do that. And I'm down with that. He's going to be so down for that. So down.
And she's flexible, literally and figuratively.
I stopped doing yoga a while back, so I should probably get back on
Probably
that.
get back on that. Should probably get back on that. Yeah.
Jump on it. Jump
Thank
on
you
it.
so much for checking out episode 240. Happy birthday, Stacy.
Oh my gosh. You did the real merms for me.
Mimi.
Thank you. My little road runner.
This is Reasons Why I'm Single podcast. That's Stacy, birthday girl.
That's Chelsea. Hi. And we will see you all next week. Okay, bye.
Bye. Got
Why?